My name is Max. I'm senior software engineer at Agiliway, and today's webinar is for talking about AIs, talking about how to integrate it into the business processes, and also we will talk about, do you really need this? So yeah, uh, let's start. So if you really need this, then let's talk about this more deeper. Uh, let's go through all what we will cover today, and then we'll jump into each one and we'll talk about this in details. So first of all, we'll talk about, do we need AI in real systems? And if so, then why? Then we'll talk about what AI can give us, how cool it is, and sometimes how it can be terrible. Also, we will talk about where we can use it, since right now I see just a lot of cases when many companies try to be up to date, integrating with AIs, but they don't really understand where to use it, so they just put it somewhere just to be. Then we will talk about what should you feed to AI and how, so there is no crap at the exit. Then we will talk about the AIs I used based on my experience in usage in the real production system. It's a CRM. Then we will jump to the integrations and we'll talk about some pitfalls during the integration. We'll talk about why is it so slow sometimes and what can we do with this. Talk about also SSE as a solution when your customers are very lazy and they want just AI to do all their work for themselves, try to ask AI to analyze the ton of data and so on. We'll also talk about the prompts configurations and tuning. So let's start. Do we need AI really? And if so, then why? Uh, Before you will have an answer to this question, you have to answer like a step-by-step questions. First of all, what do we want AI to do? So what is the use cases will be? Where you want to add this? Also, you have to understand, will it simplify our users' life or no? For example, we probably all of us used Jira. And they, probably a few months ago, I don't remember when, they added AI, so we can use it just to fetch some tickets and so on. But if you work with Jira probably for 1 month, at least 1 year, you will be able to find what you need much faster, much easier, and there won't be cases when AI just miss some ticket. Also, you have to understand, is it possible to AI to analyze and process your requests and provide a good result as a result in the final. Also, you have to understand that AI have some limitations about how much data it can process per one request. And so you have to understand what is your own limits, what is the number of data you have to send in the worst case scenario, and is it supported by your AI that you are going to use. When you have the answers for all these questions, you can calculate the cost per one request. And also you have to understand that AI is not something like a simple REST call when you just can send request, retrieve response in a few seconds, and that's it. No, AI will take its own time to analyze, to process, to build the response, and it can take from 5 seconds to a few minutes or even more. So what AI can give us? To be honest, almost everything, but again, AI, if we will talk about the AI, and we will talk about a lot today, always it is limitations, limits from on each step, from every side, so everywhere. So AI can analyze data, it can generate data, it can generate images. It also can answer a ton of questions and wrap responses in a specific format. I'm talking about right now, like if you need some lists, some probably spacing, paragraphs in your response, AI will manage to do it. And it's look quite good, isn't it? But how cool is AI and how terrible can it be sometimes? Yeah, and it's absolutely true. I worked with it for more than probably 1 year, every day almost. So limitations and unwelcome surprises are probably everywhere. First of all, it is problem with the tokens limit. Sometimes you have to analyze customers' data, and they have ton of them. Probably, let's just imagine that we will talk about the system with a list of contacts, and contacts have like first name, last name, emails, addresses, probably the organization the contact is from, and so on, so on. And if you are going to send like data for 5 or probably 500 contacts, you will be fine. But what if you have to process 5,000 contacts in a one request to generate some analytics or probably just to summarize, just filter them? I don't know. Also, AI sometimes is very inaccurate. So what I'm talking about, if you will ask, for example, AI to filter all these contacts by one city and then probably by the email provider, it can miss something or probably it can add something extra. Uh, Also, AI very like to provide abstract responses with ton of water inside. When you ask AI just to give you a short answer, for example, like yes or no, and that's it, AI will return you yes or no, and additionally, few paragraphs of explanation why is it yes or no, even if you asked it not to do this. If you ask AI to format some data, so just for example, generate an email with a nice user-friendly structure. Uh, Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not, and you have to be ready for this. With all these cases, you can make like a post-processing or just ask to AI just to regenerate answer and it will be fine. But sometimes we will still get such situations when like a wrong format and that's it. Also, extra information is asked. It's quite similar to what I already mentioned when you want like a short answer, yes or no, but also you get a ton of explanations. But here probably you need to generate a JSON format as a response, but not only JSON you will get additionally to this JSON ton of other stuff that you really don't need. But response structures. If you when we are talking about the integrating with AI, it's almost everything we will talk about the integration with it on the backend side, and then send the response from AI to the front end, and front end should like parse it and display. And by default, in REST, we are sending all data in a JSON formats. But AIs struggle with it. Sometimes they provide you wrong JSON, invalid JSON, or some special characters, extra spacing, and since of this, you just can't normally parse the JSON from AI's response. And slowness, yeah, AI is very slow sometimes, and it depends on several factors. First of all, it is how much data are you sending to it. What is the complexity of your request? Which type of data do you send? Does it contain a lot of special characters or no? And I don't know what and something else also. We will talk about this a bit later. So where can we use AI after we talked about all these disadvantages? First of all, you have to understand that you can use in that places where you don't need a 100% of accuracy, where tokens limit or so token limit is less than maximum data we want to be supported. What I meant behind this. So for example, you have like some restriction that you have to support to cover all your customers request to process 5,000 of contacts in one request. So it is the maximum of data you have to be able to send to AI. And the question, will AI support it? If yes, you're fine. If no, you will have to think about some workarounds, and you can probably split the data in two requests and then merge with AI two responses. But it will take a long time. Also, we have to be ready to wait for a response. It can take the fastest I achieved the response, it was near 3 seconds, but usually it from 10 seconds up to 1 minute, even after a lot of optimization. Also, we have to understand that AI is not stable, so we don't care about stability. We don't need from AI 100% of successfully processed requests, since we can process successful errors. We can handle with it. So if you want just to add AI on the, for example, front end and send to user direct response and original response from AI, here probably you will have some troubles. But if you are able to make some post-processing of AI response on the UI or on the backend, you are fine. Also, you have to be able to handle batch response structure. It's the same, almost like a previous. So what to feed and how, so you will have a good result in the end. So again, almost everything. If you don't need structure, if you don't guarantee a good quality, accuracy, and privacy. So if we are talking about, for example, financial projects, here I don't think the AI will fit fine, since when we are talking about financial sphere, when we are talking about some medicine or something else, you have to be very accuracy, and the quality should be the highest as possible. And also, again, privacy. All of us probably will have to work with PII data of our customers. And you have to understand that not everyone customer would like to allow you to send their own PIs somewhere to third parties. Since for as we are owner of the system, AI for us is a third party. And here probably you will have to make some pre-processing, remove from request PIs and so on. So otherwise, as I already said, we have to prepare a request remove PII, format in that way that it will cost you minimum amount of tokens. You have to simplify the data you are going to send. You have to get rid of special characters, extra tabulations, extra spaces, and so on. Also, you have to wrap your content that you want AI to analyze in a nice prompt with ton of instructions, where you will specify what you really want to achieve as a result. And also, after all of this, you have to parse the response. Right now, let's talk about the AIs I used, their comparison, based on our usage in my current project. It is CRM. Okay, first we started with a ChatGPT. We were good, fastly, everything looks fine. But then something happens with ChatGPT, and we will talk about it in 1 minute probably. And then we switch to the Anthropic plus AWS Bedrock. So right now we are not integrated with Anthropic directly. We have integration with AWS Bedrock, and we are the AWS Bedrock. We are using Anthropic. So in future, probably, if you will need to add some more requests, except what we have right now, that are not supported by the Anthropic. For example, not enough tokens in the model, not enough, probably some functionality, or we need to process some audio files or generate audio files, and Anthropic doesn't support it. Then we will be able to add another one AI provider via the AWS Bedrock, and it will take us probably 1 hour instead of like reintegrating the everything. And right now, let's talk about the difference between these both systems in a different sphere. First of all, it is security. ChatGPT, as I'm sure all of you had at least once, the ChatGPT is not secure. And it's true. There are a lot of cases when some Microsoft's, Google's, Facebook's developers asked ChatGPT to analyze their code and so on. As a result, this code from these such huge companies became a public, and other people were able just to get it. With Anthropic and AWS Bedrock, you have much better situation. The Anthropic's philosophy is so they were focused on the security of their system, on the safety of their customers. And even if you will start to investigate about the different AI providers on the AWS Bedrock, you will see that Anthropic is a very good option if you have to deal with PI data. Speed. It's very tricky to answer which one is better, since sometimes ChatGPT better if you probably need to generate some. ChatGPT probably will be slower than Anthropic in analyzing the huge amount of text. But generally, they both are quite good and quite bad at the same time. Stability. ChatGPT, in this case, probably the worst case. We integrated with it. We already deployed everything on the production. Our customers were happy for 1 month or 2 months, I don't remember exactly. And after that, we started to retrieve ton of customer issues. The ChatGPT doesn't work. We started to investigate it. I had added there a lot of logins, so it wasn't like a huge deal to understand what is going on. ChatGPT started to cache. So probably they had some maintenance or something else, but even if in that period I changed my prompt, changed my request to ChatGPT totally. For example, before I asked about the weather in Berlin, right now I'm asking about the top 5 companies in the real estate. I still retrieved the response about the weather. So something strange where. And on our side, we didn't have a cache. And even I sent the request via the Postman. So eliminate the possibility that something is wrong with our system. And it happened quite often, especially in this time, like right now, probably 2 hours ago, something like this. With Anthropic, everything very stable. Yes, sometimes one request per 25 or 50, still we get an error, but we are fine with it. We don't need AI to be fully accuracy, fully stable, since we can manage and we can process these errors on our side and just ask Anthropic to regenerate. Next one, it is accuracy. I think both of them are quite similar. Sometimes ChatGPT will be better, sometimes Anthropic, but both of them really struggle when they have to calculate something, when they have to filter something by different criteria. It's not where you are going to use AI. At least I wouldn't recommend to use AI just to make some mathematics at all. Then prompts. Prompts configuration are quite similar, but with few difference. For regular people, probably to write a prompt for ChatGPT will be much easier, since when you write to prompts for ChatGPT, it is very like an human way. Just simple question without anything. But when we are talking about the Anthropic, yeah, you still can write a simple question and provide some content, and Anthropic will process it. But Anthropic also supports like text in a request. So you can build your prompt with like text. For example, first tag it is question, second tag it is content, third tag it is some instructions. And to then write in a regular, in the human way, just what you should to do, where you should get question, content, and which instructions you should follow. And it is much better. I will show you probably even right now how it looks like when you're building the prompt to Anthropic. So let me open my Postman. So we have like a two requests. First one, it is simple, and second one, it is advanced. It is direct request to the Anthropic. First one, it is probably the same as for ChatGPT. So when you send a message to Anthropic, you just asking, could you please summarize next topic? And here it is just I copy paste some content from the Wikipedia about the solar energy, and that's it. And as a to the result, you can retrieve like a normal in a human way response with some even tabulations, new lines, spacing. Everything looks quite good. And nothing special. But if you want a bit more tricky request, or you have to ensure that AI will follow you, some of your instructions, then you're able to write like a bit advanced request. So probably just to make it more visible for you, I'm going just to copy from here this request, this content that I sent, put it in Notepad. Okay, so here you can split the request in different things. One moment, just let me find the second content. It's okay. You provide different text here, and in this way you split like a prompt in different parts. And the result, it will be much easier to understand for AI what you really want. So first of all, you have like a content. It is content that we want AI to analyze. Then you have like an instruction. And in this instruction, we specify, please format your response as a JSON representation of email with next key subject we need, and we need body. And also we want JSON to be valid. Then we have example of a good response. And Anthropic will follow this example and will build its own response based on your sample. And also we have like a question at the end. So it is like a question closed, and but where is this? Okay, inside the question text. So in this way, you can split and make better structure of your prompt. It will be easier to maintain, easier to update, to improve it, and you will be probably sure that everything will fine, and that Anthropic won't add its own thoughts on what you want to retrieve. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. Next one, it is tuning. Tuning, it is the final step. So when you already integrated with AI, you wrote a good prompts, you tested everything, and so on. The way to optimize it, to make it a bit faster and to get a better responses, you have to tune it. What is tuning? We will talk about a bit later. And the last thing, it is AWS Bedrock. As I already mentioned, for me, as for developer who works with AI probably almost every day, it's very important that with AWS Bedrock, I will be able to switch to another AI provider from Anthropic, for example, for AWS Titanium, something like this. I don't remember the exact name. And it will take me probably 1 hour with prompts update, with adding new request, and so on. It won't take me a lot of time. So let's jump to the integration. So which steps you should follow to integrate? First of all, you have to add AI providers client or write your own. A lot of AI providers already offer you to use their SDK. You can find, for example, AWS Bedrock. It has its own SDK. You can use from ChatGPT some client for different languages, for Python, for Java, .NET, and so on. Next, you have to build and send the request. Building the request, it is right now like I'm talking about the pre-processing, cleaning the data you're going to send, put it in a right way, replace probably in prompt those parts that where should the content to be placed, replace probably some parts where question should be, and so on. Then you have to parse response and also make some post-processing if needed. For example, if during the request building you removed the PI data, then after you will get a response, you have to return this PI data back into the answer. And so then you have to build the prompts. But what are the pitfalls? First of all, it is batch response format. I already mentioned it, but I can talk about this for hours. AI sometimes think that it's known better what you need than you asked. And if you ask for like splitting, so parsing and analyzing the content and giving you like highlights from this in a list, AI will think, okay, today I will do it in a list, but tomorrow I want to return you like a plain text. Also, sometimes you ask AI to generate JSON, but it will be corrupted. You won't be able to just parse it normally, or probably you will have not only JSON in response, you will have some extra information before JSON, after JSON, and you will have like to extract the JSON from the response. Also, you have to be aware of if users will write their own like a prompt, which you will put inside your own prompt, it can break the response. So for example, you're asking, so your prompt, it's something like user have to enter the city and AI should get the weather from it. But user, instead of putting the city, puts please generate me a short answer for that question. What are the most popular books in 2024. And AI will just skip the first part of your prompt and will jump to what user wants. Also, AI is very sensitive to the special character in request. First of all requests that you're sending to, they cost some tokens. And and tokens, it is like a unit of complexity, of request complexity measurement. And to analyze special character, AI will take more time than to analyze a regular letter. And if, for example, you're sending the request with ton of backslashes, hashes, ampersand, and so on, it will, first of all, it will cost you more. Second, it will work much slower. And third, probably AI will really struggle with providing a good response. It can miss some cases and so on. Since in the behind the AI, they have their own logic where they split requests in parts and so on, and they can use these special characters for like navigation keys, something like this. And let's talk right now, what the hell is it so slow and what can we do with it? First of all, if you see that your request processing are very, very slow, first of all, probably it is since you are sending too much data. Second one, it is probably you have, as I already mentioned, special characters in request, and since of this, AI struggle. Sometimes you have quite complicated prompts where you ask AI to go through the ton of steps. For example, first, please analyze this content, and on your response, analyze it with this filter, and then probably some else. So try to make your prompts very simple. You can make few instructions, probably just find something and give me an answer in alphabetic, like a sort. And it's okay, but if you will ask and filter it on 3 or 4 fields, or sorted by 3 or 4 fields, then first of all, it will take a lot of time, and I'm sure that it will be a quite high percent of invalid response. Also, extra instructions in prompt. Don't try to overload one request. Don't try to put like, please generate me JSON, then let it be well lit. Please write the JSON in a one line. Then you ask, can you make all like keys uppercase, and so on, so on, so on. Make it simple, easier to maintain, less chance to fail, better stability, better quality, and so on. Bad prompt structure, yeah. Especially when we are talking about the Anthropic. I showed you already that you can split your request in a few parts, and somewhere you will specify the content, somewhere you will specify instructions, somewhere you will specify like question. And you have to understand that for most AIs, the better way to get the right answer is to put your question at the end. So it will be like a final thing that AI will think about. So solutions for the too much data, for example, you can clean the payload. You can remove a ton of spaces. As a result, you will decrease the amount of tokens. Probably you can replace some PI data with something smaller. For example, full name will be replaced by John, and so on. prompt refactoring. Yeah, so I'm sure you will play a lot with prompts, trying to optimize them to make it more maintainable, to make it easier understandable for AI. And the final step, it is tuning. Tuning, it is something that can, so after you already did previous steps, you clean payload, you have the best possible prompt, and you are still struggle with the speed. Then tuning can help you. SSE, WebSockets, and pooling. It is something that will help you to avoid, to save user from waiting for response. You can make it something, okay, user click the button and continue its work while AI working on the user's request. And when AI will be ready, you will just notify user that, okay, your response is ready, you can take a look at this. We especially didn't have a case where we can postpone the response. So our users prefer to wait for response. And we decided to switch to the SSE from a regular HTTP request. Right now, we don't have like a timeouts. Sometimes your request that user asks to analyze can take up to 5-10 minutes, and it's okay. So what is SSE? It is server-side event when you can notify front end from the backend. So first of all, first request, it is front end a request backend for SSE emitter. After this, like we establish the connection between front end and backend, and front end will send you in another one, next one request, the request from user to AI. After this, front end will just waiting for response. To will be notified via the SSE that response is ready, or probably even retrieve the response via the SSE. When AI will finish its processing, you will be able to like make some post-processing, prepare the response, and then you will just ready to notify the front end. So you send the request, you just probably the AI response parsed, or probably just will ping the front end that your response is ready, and that's it. A very simple solution for us. We right now can process much more data. If before we can parse, for example, 1 MB of data, process 1 MB of data. Right now we can process up to 50 megabytes of data, and we are good with it. Okay. Prompts configuration and tuning. First of all, what do we need, and probably what do we need to understand? When we're talking about tuning, we are talking about asking AI provider to give you a separate your own model that you will use when you will send the request. And this model, when AI will process the request with this model, first of all, will check on the data you provided it to learn how to answer your question, your next request. So you have to prepare a ton of request and response pairs. For example, your user can ask like 10 questions, for example, and you have a nice, good format in which AI should respond. You can prepare like thousands of them, and then you will feed it to this model. So model will be tuned. And with this model, you will get better results. Also, you have to understand if you want to tune some specific request, it should be almost static. So you won't be able to tune or retrieve one model and then use it one model for all your requests for different scenarios. For example, here for contact analyzing, there for customers analyzing, somewhere for probably some contracts analyze, and so on, so on. So the best way to use tuning, it is to tune one request where you have a quite stable prompt where probably a bit content will be changed, and that's it. Money. Yeah, next what you need, it is money. Since AI will generate a separate model specially for you, it will take more money per token. What will you get as a result? First of all, it is better accuracy, higher speed, and also better responses, probably. Only if you use tuning in a right place and if you feed AI with a good request response samples. So let's jump to questions. Do you have any questions? Would you use AI for your own business? Okay, good question. Uh, yeah, I will. I will use it, but only if I sure that I won't have to. So even I will have a bit better answer. I will use it only in that case if I know that it is simpler for me than to write my own logic. If I have to generate some text, for sure I will use AI, but if or generate. But if I have to analyze some static, stable structure data, probably I will do it on my side. So without AI, it will be faster. I won't have to pay extra money. I won't have to pay for something, and I won't have to like struggle then if AI stop to work. So every time you use third party, you can face with some unpleasant situations. Another one. What do you mean under term of testing in a context of integration? Testing. One moment. Let me check. IE integration. Let's jump to this. Okay, testing. I got it. So when you just wrote the integration, so you connected to AI, you can send their request. You wrote a simple prompt, for example, like here, we have a simple prompt. Let me just open it. This one. When you have this simple prompt, and only the data, so only the contact will be changed. So let me just update it. So it will looks like something like this. It is your prompt, and you ask. So here in this hours, you will put some content. For example, one time you will send about the solar panels, another time you will send about probably, I don't know, some real estate data, and you will ask just to summarize the topic. Probably you will need, so you will start to play with it. You achieve different responses based on the content you're sending. And then you find that for some specific contents where probably it contains some names or a lot of digital data, some financial data, it's struggle. What you want to do? So it's like a testing when you try to run your request for different scenarios. I don't think that you will have like that you will use AI which will process only the same data. No, it will process different data. Even if we will go back to that sample when we will ask AI to analyze some contacts. and you try to filter them. But what if in your system, few contacts won't have an email? What if some contacts will have uh, like an invalid emails, invalid names, invalid zip codes, and so on? And you will face with cases when filtering or probably sorting, summarizing doesn't work well. So you start to ask AI to process small amount of data where you understand what is the ideal response you should retrieve. And if you see that there are some differences between what the real answer and what AI see, then you try to update your prompt and again test, send more requests, more requests, more requests. And you are doing this till you see that the answer from AI is like you want or even better. Yeah. Okay. Other questions? Question and answers. Okay, I think no more questions. So then that's it. Thank you. Have a great day.